Well, that was the ultimate crash landing into a live stream. Oh, just realizing my phone was still on there. The playback device just stopped. Yeah, in the middle of my ramp up, in the middle of the whole, hey, take your time to join us. And then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, we're just starting. So we're just starting. All that hype music. Yeah, well, all that hype music, it went away really fast there, didn't it? The file is playing just fine over here, and then all of a sudden on my playback device, it just stopped. File format error. It's never happened, but that's actually a piece of hardware that I actually need to replace. So now I'm really inspired to replace it. Nice one, man. Yeah, well, we're just starting the live stream like that. So let's go in order here. B-Dog, Brody. What's going on, B-Dog? Jesus, saludos to you as well. Saludos también. ¿Sí? Un poquito. Sharks Fangirl, great to have you here. Matthew, same as well. Jesus, Sal Bando, all-time great A's. And I can't say that from experience. I was not around or coherent when Sal Bando was doing his thing for the Oakland A's. But when you're the captain, when you're the one who wears number 6, that makes your dad wear number 6, that makes Bob Melvin wear number 6, that makes me wear number 6, I suppose there is some lineage there. And from everything I had ever heard about Sal Bando, as a player, like in his prime, it struck me the other day when I saw that email come across. And we had just seen Sal in recent years with A's reunion teams, and it just goes to show never take those throwback moments for granted. When they get teams and groups of teams and players together for reunions and things like that, you just never know who's not going to be at the next one. And I hate to be morbid about that, but what I'm suggesting is let's always remember to appreciate those reunions as the moments they are and not take them so much for granted. Buster Posey, is that you? Play NHL on a live stream. I'm not set up for that right now, but next time I will definitely keep that in consideration. Caker Girl, what's going on? Marty's just like, huh? Are we starting? Yeah, we just started. Riley, it's up to you. Big Bird, Brody, bruh, we miss your after-game live video chats. I do miss them equally. They did take significant work in recent times to set up because I would have to literally put the equipment all together and then take it all apart and then put it back together. I made a video recently explaining why it was just really difficult for me to continue doing those. And plus some priorities elsewhere on other YouTube channels that I'm working on, some other things in life, a little sleep deprivation being part of that. It's not something I could continue in the moment. But it's not for a lack of desire or interest or effort, really. It wasn't possible anymore. So I know you probably know that, but I just want to make sure that comes across. Yeah, Sharks Night Shift will be back, inevitably, at some point. And hopefully by the time it comes back, it'll time out with a lot better topics to discuss after games and more happy Sharks Night Shifts than the alternative. Zach Man, what's cooking? The game against Boston never happened. Oh, I believe it did happen. I think we did pregame, intermissions, and postgame. Oh, it definitely happened. Let's move on to Detroit. And actually, Zach, I think what's crazy about the weekend for San Jose, they literally played the last place team in the NHL. Columbus on Saturday. Didn't play well. Up 2-0, then eventually tied at 2, and then eventually 3-2, and then eventually you lose by a couple. Not a good effort by the Sharks in Ohio. But then they turn it around and play probably as well as they could have against Boston. And it's still not good enough. You still lose 4-0. The 4 Boston goals, amazing individual efforts and plays. Look, Boston's just loaded. What are they, 22-1-3 on home ice now? But it's unfortunate. You play your worst game against the worst team and your best team against the best team, and you lose both. kind of par for the course of this season for the Sharks. Dalton, I've been okay. I've been a bit segmented, busy, if you will. Obviously, the holidays, I had about a week and a half to turn it around after that, or at least after New Year's. And then I was just in Arizona for the last week, or last week, I should say, for a week with A's Fantasy Camp. That was a great time. I did have a really enjoyable experience down there. Made a video on it. I've got more to share in the future for people who are interested in doing something like that. I'll have all the details of how to sign up when that's available to the public. And that will be soon, by the way. I'm imagining in the next, let's see here, 5 to 6 weeks, we'll have some info on how exactly you can do that. But things have been good. They've been good. And we're obviously, after this weekend, we're about to have a week off of the Shark season, the mandated NHL break. The Undertaker returned. Oh, really? Surprised. Well, first off, of course, who doesn't know who the Undertaker is? But yeah. All right. And what happened? What happened when the Undertaker returned? Would I totally annoy everyone if I started talking about the Sharks and how awesome Timo is at fighting? Oh, Caker Girl, come on. We have one sample of him in the last 5 years. I think the last fight, we showed it on TV the other night. His prior fighting major before last night was December of 2018. It was a game against Minnesota. It was at his second year in the league. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I was actually impressed. He held his own. In situations like that, a lot of guys who are not accustomed to what happens in that, in that quick split second, they could get hurt. They could be vulnerable. But Timo actually held his ground pretty well, all things considered. So, look, fighting is fighting, and it happens. I'm not here to take it out of the game. I'm also not here to promote the heck out of it. But it's got its place. It's got its reasoning. And for Timo, I was pleasantly surprised that nothing bad happened, but he defended himself quite well in that moment. All right. I don't know if you saw my comment on your video. I did not. But I'm curious if you would be at the tank anytime soon. You know what? We have a schedule. I don't have it here in front of me. And I would say by the end of February, we have at least 1 or 2 more times down there. I know we'll be there for the Patrick Marleau jersey retirement night. So I know that at the very least. And there is at least another 1 or 2 nights, I want to say before and or after that. So I'm not sure, but yes, in about a month, we'll be down there. And hey, you know what? It's the 23rd of January. That means we are about a month away from the first Shark getting their jersey retired. That's going to be pretty cool. Long time in the making there. He doesn't fight a lot, but when he does, he destroys the other guy. Did he really destroy Brandon Carlo? Also, did he throw a few punches when both guys were on the ground? That's kind of a no-no. But I'm not chalking it up to anything ill-devised. I'm saying that he just had not been in that situation a lot. I'm not saying he didn't know either. It's just when you're new to it, you may not be perfect at it. Caker Girl with seeing a side of number 28 we haven't seen. I like it. Laura, good evening, everybody. Look at the wave. I'll give you a wave back, too. Timo trade talks have me feeling unwell. I was thinking about that the other day, too. I'm not a fan of discussing what happens to players in trades and speculating and me adding fuel to that conversation, which sometimes is warranted. A lot of times it's not even warranted. It's just fans talking. And I'll never take away from fans the fun part about, hey, let's make things up. Let's play pretend a little bit. What if the Sharks did this? What if this other team did that? What if the 49ers did this? All sports, all teams. Hang on one second. I'm not one to say, okay, you can't have your fun. You can't speculate. That's what fans do. I just don't want to do it in a place of what people perceive to be a little bit of authority. Like if I say, well, Timo's going to get traded by the end of this year. I mean, I think that's possible. I think there's one of two things that happen. Number one, the Sharks find a working agreement with him that he's going to sign a long-term deal and it's agreeable to both sides, or I think he'll get traded by March 3rd. I don't think you keep him and then have him hit the RFA market and endanger the franchise of getting nothing out of Timo Meier. I mean, there has to be some reward and some return here. I could see that writing on the wall, but I hate speculating. I really do. I hate saying, well, he could go to Boston and okay, stop right there. This is somebody's life. It's their livelihood. It's their family. It's all that stuff. So, and as much as I don't enjoy it because people will run with it, and it will, like I said, it will add momentum to something that sometimes might be partially true, other times might be thinly true or not true at all. But in this circumstance, Timo really only stands to benefit as an individual, right? I mean, he's played so well, and if there's a possibility that he gets traded to a team that's already talked to his agent, like there is that report out there that the Sharks have said, hey, if you want to talk to Timo, you can talk to his agent too. If you want to line up a long-term deal, you can start to do that now. We'll trade you. We'll trade him to you. We'll trade with you. We'll trade him. You know what I'm saying. It could really work out for him. So how am I here to say, usually I'm protecting the player. I'm saying don't spread rumors. Don't speak out of your rear end if you don't know what you're talking about. But in this case, like, it might be a really good thing for Timo Meier as the Sharks continue to do what they need to do, make moves and rebuild and clear out some cap space. I mean, it so long as the team benefits here and Timo benefits, I don't mind bringing this up because it is a front and center reality. So I get it. I know what you're saying, Laura. You're feeling more in a sense of what will the Sharks be like without Timo Meier anymore? And I agree, but it would be for a strategic move. This is not, this is the beginning of something if it is his departure. It's the end of his time here, and for him, it's the beginning of a new chapter. He'll do something great somewhere else. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of fanning the flames, but I understand how it lies in sports. All right. Thoughts on the start of the Sharks' 8-game road trip so far. And to be fair, Matthew, when we say it's an 8-game road trip, it's 5 games in a row on the road, which is, hefty enough. Like that's usually a pretty big trip, a 5-gamer out east. That is a big deal. But then it's a week off. I think it's even more than a full week off. And then it's back out on the road for 3 more. So in reality, the Sharks after the game, is it on Saturday? We have a game, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, right? No, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. What days are our games this week? This is my life. This is what I live off of, the Sharks schedule. Yeah, Tuesday against Detroit, and then Friday against Carolina, and then Saturday in Pittsburgh. So after the game against Pittsburgh, more than a week off. Come home, reset, reflect, recover, all that stuff. So really it's a 5 and a 3. But thoughts then on which I've already shared, you play your worst game against the worst team in the league, and then you play a respectable game against the best team, and it results you in no points and a lot more frustrations. And, I think at some point after every game, people will look for positives. Like, it is what it is at this point. There's not always the need to even search for, well, you played a respectable effort. I mean, you should, right? You should always play a respectable effort, no matter who the opponent is. Even if it's the first place, Boston Bruins who are 12 points ahead of everybody else. You should at least have that. But yeah, a frustrating back-to-back sequence for sure. Joseph, how dare you ask me how's the family? No, actually, I'm just kidding because I saw your next sentence here. I understand the need for privacy, but also genuinely curious. Everybody's great. No, I really appreciate you asking that. I was kidding, obviously. Yeah, and you know what? I really appreciate the fact that you would bring that up. You know, I'm obviously a person who I put myself out there, put my thoughts out there, put my work out there. I'm open to the two-way conversation that is social media. You know, I was thinking the other day, if you work in broadcasting in the 70s and 80s and 90s and even the 2000s, really. I mean, we started putting our email address on the screen when I got into TV in the early 2000s, and people could email you. But that was, you know, there was some response, but it was, you know, paragraphs and full thoughts, and it came from a human who signed their name and like sometimes even had a phone number attached to it. Now on Twitter, it's Joe Anonymous, Joe 1371, and say whatever you want. And it's usually harsh and it's inappropriate. And I think especially if you're a female working in our industry, you get it a lot worse. You get it ridiculously worse from people who just should not be making some of the comments and statements that they do to people that they don't know. And they feel like it's fair game. Well, you're a public figure. Anyway, my point in sharing, I know, Joseph, I'm going on a tangent here, but I like to, I don't mind putting myself out there. I don't mind, you know, people want to criticize my thoughts or my appearance or performance or whatever. That's fine. I mean, that comes with the territory. But there is one thing that I'm not a whole lot about sharing my family or personal stuff or, and it's not that I feel uncomfortable. It's just that I think I used to do a lot more of that. And maybe it just felt right, you know, at the time and the place then. But I think over the years, I've just felt it's not less comfortable. It's more like, who cares? I mean, I care about my family. I intimately do. I of course. Why wouldn't I? But I feel like I don't need to share everything because there's just no point in it, really. So I do appreciate you asking. But maybe the reason to explain it here of why I hold back sometimes. Yeah, it's just I don't know that there's a market out there for caring about every last accomplishment of my child or, you know, pet or whatever. It just, yeah. At some point, I don't know. Everybody's out there doing it. I guess maybe I just don't need to. I feel like I don't need to add to it. So I don't know if that makes sense. Why all the talk of a Timo trade when we would spend the next 5 hours looking for another 28? Are you saying that it's more than just the Timo trade conversation? It's how are the Sharks going to rebuild after a potential departure? I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Oh, this is good. Timo fighting last night was hot. I want to see him fight Tyler Seguin from Dallas like that. What? Wait a second. Why are you singling out Tyler Seguin? Why do you want to see those two fight? Yeah, all right. Let's see where that went. Clutch Power Productions. Hey, I ordered a cheap Mets jersey and got an Athletics jersey instead. Is that a sign? Should the A's be my AL team? Clutch Power Productions. Did you buy it from Fanatics? They've got an interesting history of sending people the wrong jerseys, the wrong entirely products, putting names upside down. And obviously they satisfy enough customers to not run themselves out of business, but I've seen it on social. I've seen them tagged. I've seen a bunch of stuff where Fanatics, you know, one of the official suppliers, I believe, of the NHL and obviously baseball and other sports too, but there's no like quality control sometimes, which, look, in the end, did everybody get their stuff fixed and they got what they wanted? Yeah, probably, but it's almost like, wait, what? What did you just send me? Like, how did you order a Mets jersey and an A's jersey came instead? Like, I'm not mad at that. Great. And yes, it is a sign that you need to get your American League team out west. No question. Oh, yeah. Heard you pulled a hammy at the camp. LOL. Okay, B-Dog. You'll see how it is. Probably when you're, I don't know, are you as old as I am? Probably not. It's one of those things where I tried to play it off when it happened. I hit a grounder to short, and the shortstop bobbled it, and I was running up the first base line. All of a sudden, when I saw him bobble it, I said, you know what, I'm going to sprint. I'm going to beat this thing out. Take 2 or 3 strides, pop. Right hamstring I feel it. Get to first base, left foot on first base. I tumble over first base. I'm holding my leg. Carney Lansford's coaching first, looking over like, is this a joke? Wait, this is your first at-bat in our first game of camp. Are you kidding me right now? I'm like, this is not a bit. No, I'm seriously hurt. Yeah, I'm not joking right now. And I tried to play it. I tried to get up like, okay, I'm fine. Whoa, no, I'm not fine. I can't walk on this thing. A bit scary in the initial moments because I didn't know how bad it was. Turns out it wasn't torn entirely, which is good. I had the trainers look at that. I've had the exact same pulled right hamstring before. Funny enough, the other time it happened, I was chasing around fly balls with Matt Chapman on the Coliseum playing surface. So yeah, both times I've pulled my right hamstring, or any hamstring, I've been wearing an A's jersey playing on a professional field. Yeah, I only missed the next day of games, and then through the rest of the camp, I had a pinch runner for me all the time, and I ended up playing first base. I got back out there and played some first, but it hurt. Everybody saw the video that Dallas made of me in the moments afterwards limping back into the clubhouse. He did the old David Attenborough, like, there's a wounded animal right there. That's young Brazil who pulled a hamstring. So check out that video on Dallas's Twitter. Apparently that's how my whole neighborhood around here where I live, they're like, wait, we saw the video. We saw Dallas's hilarious video of you pulling your hamstring right afterwards. Oh yeah, real hilarious. Miguel. Brody, I'm being optimistic here that the A's could finish third. I mean, good pitching, bullpen and rotation, young lineup. Let's just see what happens. We can't be worse than last year. Okay, Miguel, I'm going to agree with you on the last part entirely. I've said this before. It's worth repeating. You've got a young group that got a taste last year. The Shea Langoliers, the Paches, the Nick Allens, Jonah Brides, all of the above, and some more. It was a heavy year for rookie debuts, brand new players, transition, like the team had just traded Olsen, Chapman, Bassett, Minaya, Montas throughout the season. It was, I mean, the name of the game last year was, who are these guys? What happened to this team? So this year is going to be a lot more stable in a sense that you get an idea of who's going to be where to do what. It's Mark Kotze's second season as a manager at any level. And I'm not saying he had a bad year like at the helm. I mean, look what, some of the situations he had to deal with. I'm just here to say that if they've only lost 100 games twice in all their years in Oakland, one of them was 1979, the other time was last year, 102 losses. Yeah, I'm here to say that it would be a very rare occurrence if they got to triple digits again. Now, how much better will they be? Honestly, they might only be 70 and 92, but that's 10 games back in the right direction. But they will not lose 100 games. And I've heard people say, oh, they're going to be even worse. Well, based on what? Like, what's your merit for that? They're hopefully starting the trajectory. And when I say hopefully, it's because the front office can only do so much to line up the rebound, right? The next wave. They can only do so much to make sure that what they want to happen actually does happen. And it pans out and it plays out like they want. But I think going back to the overall theme is they will not be as bad as they were last year. Some self-inflicted trades, some stuff that was intentional, playing for the future. Also some bad luck with injuries last year. A really, really bad offensive team last year. Could not score runs on any regular basis. In fact, I thought last year, the A's right now have the longest active streak of any major league team avoiding no-hitters. That's me knocking on wood right there. Every other team has been no-hit since the A's got last no-hit, right? So they have the longest active streak of avoiding a no-no. I felt like last year, you know that saying, beep around and find out? I know I can curse on here, but I just don't do it. Mess around and find out? Well, they were messing around last year, and I thought last year might have been the season where they got no-hit. They took a couple games into the 6th and 7th. Did they take one into the 9th? Where they were getting no-hit? I can't remember. I tried to flush out the bad memories. But you know what I'm saying? Like last year would have been the year that it happened. So I don't know if that will happen again this year or we'll get close, but they need to score runs. They will not lose as many games. They will be overall a better team just based on experience and the comfort factor alone. I don't think there's any question about that. Sharks should sign the Bash brothers. It'll help physically on the team. You want Jose and Mark? I'd love to see Jose skate. It often feels like the Sharks are just 1 or 2 ingredients away from being much better. What do you think they're missing? You know, scoring-wise, I mean, this year they've had Carlson emerge to be the offensive defenseman that he was always touted to be. But look, Erik Karlsson is doing something this year that, like, he's never done this before at this level. 4 different 4-point games on pace for, somewhere between 100 and 110 points. He's never done this. So let's be real. Like, he has been, Norris Trophy winner, like that caliber, that elite caliber of player, but he's never been out of his mind like right now. And Timo Meier has emerged, obviously, the pace for 40. I don't know where and when, how he'll finish the year, like what team he'll be on, just saying. But I think, to your point, and I said this about the Sharks in watching them last year, they had trouble scoring on a regular basis. And with all the drama surrounding Evander Kane, I always felt like, and they were, they had him under contract. They just, for certain reasons, chose not to welcome him to the group. But it was like a player, forget Evander, I'm just saying, take the mock-up of the player and what he's capable of and, 35 goals in a year. Like, that's what I thought they were missing last year. And that was a different, obviously a different team. Brent Burns was still on it, but I felt like that was what they were missing last year. That would have helped them take some steps, get a little bit closer. I'm not sure that it, was going to put them in a playoff spot, but that was a missing ingredient, like another bona fide goal scorer. Well, guess what? I feel like they're kind of still in that same position here this year. Now, obviously, Evander is long departed and everything's been cleared up. And sometimes I wish it were, Logan having an unreal lights out season. I wish Logan were on the 30-plus goal pace, or same thing for Tomas Hertl. But it's only been Timo, and it's really only been Karlsson. And actually, I mean, you could kind of narrow it down to this. That old question, where would the Sharks be without so-and-so? James Reimer, Erik Karlsson, Timo Meier. And guess what? All 3 of those players, in my mind, are front and center as it relates to trade speculation right now on the Sharks. The stats may not always indicate what James Reimer has meant, but if you watch on a night-after-night basis, he keeps them in the game. He keeps them competitive almost single-handedly sometimes. Defensive miscue. Opposition's got 1 or 2 or 3 good looks. Reimer there with the save. He ices the puck. Crisis averted. I think James Reimer, and I don't know what a trade for Reims would return at this point. I don't know, but I could see why he'd be desired by other, cup contenders, insurance piece, just like the Sharks wanted him back in 2016, right? That's what San Jose went out and acquired, was James Reimer to be Martin Jones's backup just in case. And obviously Carlson, with what he's been doing and fueling the offense, remove him. Where are the Sharks in the standings this year? Or even remove his performance. Keep him here, but remove his performance. I don't know where they're at. And the same thing with Timo. But to answer your question and to go back to it, they just don't have enough goal scorers. And I think in tandem with that, they still make a lot of defensive mistakes. I mean, they also make turnovers that lead to defensive mistakes because they weren't prepared to be playing without the puck in a split second. But I think, like a lot of teams, and I think this is a wholesale answer, but one more bona fide goal scorer that you can count on. I think, to your point, when we say there are one or two ingredients from being much better, I think what we're saying is, not bottom of the Pacific Division standings or, 7th or wherever they've been hovering lately, but 3rd, 4th, 5th, somewhere in the middle of the pack, like in position that they could make a push and it would matter, right? That's what we're talking about them being. Much better, midway up the standings. I agree. I think one goal scorer, if you could duplicate Timo Meier, right? If you had two Timos on the team, that is what I think what you're saying here is they'd be in a different spot. Not entirely, not planning their postseason round one opponent, but they'd be in a much different spot. Let's see. Oh man, I got behind on the chat. But I do want to thank Federico A. Pacheco. Cannot wait to get a chance to go to fantasy camp. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in the super chat. Hang on. I should have hydrated better before doing this. Also shouldn't have drank wine before doing this. That's great. I think you might have commented on maybe a video that I did, but I had a couple comments of people say when they saw fantasy camp, I've got to do this. It's a costly endeavor. I do not want to hide that from anybody. That might be the number one and sometimes only intimidation factor is how much it costs. But I've said this before, and it's in the video. You will get exactly what you pay for in terms of the experience and the opportunity and a priceless chance to do this. And the other thing is I guarantee the A's will not let you down in the fantasy camp. They do not cut corners. They do not cheap out on any this or that. It is a first-class experience. And I've heard about that. I could never say it wholeheartedly. I just never experienced it. I heard it from people I trust. But now I've experienced it. And so I can easily say that, and if you're going to try it and be able to pay for it once in life, then yes, it absolutely is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you should take them up on it. So thank you for being here in the super chat. Appreciate that. Serious question, though. Where would the Sharks hang Patty's jersey? Will it be next to the team's banners or on the other side with us and the Canadian flag? You know what, Regular Raccoon? I'm not sure. I think, in all the NHL arenas that I've been into, they always seem to hang the team banners away from the retired jersey ones. And some arenas, they've got NBA banners to hang. They've got NHL banners. So they've, SAP Center, it's, the Sharks. It's just the Sharks home. It's not really a shared winter venue with another pro team. So I think they'll probably spread it out. I agree. I think they'll probably put it next to the American and Canadian flag on the other side of the rink. Although, where is the Doug Wilson banner? Is that also with all of the team accomplishments? I think it is, right? It's crazy. It's funny. I've looked up at it. We've made videos about it, but in my mind, I can't exactly place it. And I guess, it's weird because the first banner that went up was for Doug Wilson, but the first retired jersey that's going to go up, which is a banner, let's play it what it is. It's a banner. That'll be for Patrick Marleau. So it's kind of cool that Doug got an honor as the first captain and obviously longtime GM and somebody who kept Patrick Marleau around in San Jose for a lot of years. Doug gets some early recognition too, but I think it's good for the Sharks to break that ice, to finally have a name and a number up there and somebody you can, then you can move on, because then you can bring in Joe Thornton. You can put that number up there. And I don't know, do you stop right there? Do you go a bit farther? It's going to be a good question. That's a healthy debate. That's a sports conversation I like to have, because I actually don't think it will disrespect anybody. And I know the names you're thinking of, because they're brewing in my head too right now. I don't want to say them, but it's only a conversation of, could we put that person up next? Does that make sense? There's some back and forth. Maybe there's another name that's equal. Are we doing this in a certain order? Does order matter? But for Patty to go up first entirely makes sense, right? Mr. Shark. And I'm not a betting man, but I can pretty much assure you that late 2023 or early 2024, we'll see 19 up there right next to 12. Like, it's got to happen. It's going to happen, and it's got to happen. All right. Brody, my cousin says the Sharks are like the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. They always say they are one piece away from winning, and the Sharks said they were one player. You know what, Fry? I will tell you, in the era of the Sharks being an every year contender, like most of the 2010s and late 2000s and 2010s, especially those years where I was around them all the time, I don't even know if it was one player short. Like, they had some years, it felt like they had the lineup, they had the roster to do this. Now, what they were short was one player who was injured, like against the Canucks in 2010, right? No, 2011, when the Sharks got to the conference final, played Vancouver. Ryan Clough had a dislocated shoulder, couldn't even get his jersey on, couldn't even get his arms, like literally couldn't get his elbows above his shoulders, right? So that's how much pain he was in. And I think Joe Thornton had a similar dislocation of something. I don't remember. Not to mention everything else, but I don't even think the Sharks were one player. They were not one person short. They were one healthy player short. Sometimes they were three healthy players short. Or the bad bounces. I mean, going back to that series, that specific series against Vancouver, wasn't that where the puck awkwardly came off the stanchion and it came right out to Kevin Bieksa, and he just wound up and blasted one past Antti Niemi, and that was the end of the series? And granted, it's one goal, one play, but that was the dagger moment of the series, like a totally unlucky bounce. How about the Sharks the year before that, 2010, running into Antti Niemi in Chicago in the conference final? Now, I know that's not the Stanley Cup final, and who knows what would have happened there. But it just, or even in 2016, of all the teams you go up against, remember in the Eastern Conference final that year, it was Tampa and it was Pittsburgh. And the reason I know that is because I was watching Game 7 between those two teams and trying to figure out where to book the flight. Are we going to Florida or are we going to Pennsylvania? We went to Pittsburgh. But you're going up against Sidney Crosby in that series, not to mention, Phil Kessel was pretty damaging to San Jose. So I'm not even here to say that they were one player short, like they didn't have somebody. I think they had everybody. They just always had something that held them back. Probably the best way to say it. Undertaker came back to take down LA Knight. I don't know who that is. I mean, I know who the Undertaker is. All right. Let's see what else we got. Hello from Long Island, New York. How am I? I'm doing great. And we got some Mets people in here tonight. Isn't it pretty late? Isn't it 1 a.m? The clock is literally about to hit 1 a.m, I think, in New York. How do we do this here? See if we can put the old... No. That wasn't it, Brazil. That's it. There we go. It just went 10 o'clock. in California, meaning that it's 1 a.m. out in New York. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Sorry, how am I? ALK? I'm doing great. I'm a little tight and froggy right now. Like I'm on the verge of coughing every 2 seconds. So I'm probably not going to be live streaming here for a whole lot longer. I should talk in that. Was that when we were talking about Timo fighting? So you want to see Timo fight Tyler Sagan? Yeah. Oh, Dallas talked about my injury on his podcast. The one where I said something about you want that voice? Oh, you want the David Attenborough voice? Yes. So I talk about being a wounded animal. Let me set up something here for everybody. I just made this, in fact, the other day. We could do a couple different things here. Number one, we could put me in a high school gymnasium. Hello! It's also pretty cool, like when you type here, like, listen to that. Oops. Sounds pretty cool, right? That's a high school gymnasium. All right, now watch this. Luke, I am your father, Darth Vader. This is a terrible Darth Vader, but I'm trying. I think you could also do some like cool stuff with this one. You could do some deep voice stuff. Or oh, say, can you see? Bye. Bye. Nope. Bye. Nope. By the dawn's by the dawn's early light. What's so proud? Oh my gosh, that's T-Pain for you. What's a good auto-tune song to do? What if I could do this stuff on TV? Like, they would never let me do auto-tune on Sharks pregame live. Okay, we're done with that. And we've just lost the entire audience. You do. Wait a second. You do not love this. Auto Brazil. Vince, I appreciate that, but you're lying. Come on. Darth Brody. What's up, Bamboo? How are you? Do I have? You know what? I don't have a chipmunk voice. We could probably work on that one. Do you? Well, okay. You asked for it. You got it. I gotta do that one. See, I wish I could play the song on here, but I will get. I'll get busted for that one. Okay, effects. Do you believe in love after love? No, life after love. How about, what are the words here? Actually, here, hang on a second. All right, what is it? What's the song? Oh, the song is called Believe. Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough now. Do you believe in life after love? Nobody save this clip, please. Okay? I gave you what you came here for, right? This is not what you clicked on this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Tiffany, I appreciate you playing along and probably turning down your volume at the same time. You're a poor little dog right there. If your poor little pup heard that, Dogs have sensitive hearing, and I think I'm worried about your dog. Oh, Laura's dog is barking. Oh, great. Great. Bamboo Soldier like that one. Are you dapping right there? What is the emoji there? Do Thunderstruck. It's karaoke night here on the Brody Brazil channel. Late night karaoke. I don't know. That's a serious, it's something. Sending this video to Doc. As in Curtis Brown. Oh, what's the social? He'll just think this was everything to him is the social. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's all the social. Oh, that's America's Got Talent material? You think so? You should check out the video on YouTube of the children's book interpreting Fergie's horrible national anthem, Comedy Gold. Yeah, wasn't that before a Warriors game? Was that like before an NBA Finals game? That Fergie did the national anthem and they're just over there like, bro. Oh, I woke your pup up from her nap. I'm sorry, pup. I'm sorry, Laura's pup. Welcome to the jungle. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that your dog is hanging in there at 18. That's great, actually. What was the other request? Humor and music is healing. Well, not if you like your hearing. It's not. Fergie did it at the All-Star game. That's right. Yep, you're right. I was trying to remember. I knew it was a spectacle type event. Mariah Carey song with the really high note. Yeah, but see, it doesn't help you. Like autotune doesn't help you hit those ridiculously high notes. Autotune just kind of is supposed to help you stay on key, but I think you just woke up my whole house. I should look up like songs with autotune. All right, what do we got here? We got Share. Oh, we got Buy You a Drink. Little T-Pain. I literally just searched songs with autotune. Top 10 artists who heavily use autotune. I'm just scared to click on anything here because I don't want to get demonetized. Oh, one more time. One more time. Oh, come on. There we go. Here we go. Darth Vader. No, wrong one. Wrong one, dude. One more time. It doesn't sound the same. One more time. Oh, Kesha's in there? What else do we got here? I'm sprung. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do the lyrics to that one. I feel like, we might get in trouble there. I'm sprung. Don't you get me? Anyway, there you go. All right. You got a little bonus auto-tune there. Bonus auto-tune. Let's go back to the old live chat. Here's one. Can I do robot voice on that? Yeah. You know what? There was also one on my other mixing desk here. It's like Roboto, I think. Delay mod. Tremolo rotary. Or maybe it was this guy. Hello. Hello. No, that's not it. I am a robot. No, that's not it. Maybe it's this one. Oh, this one's got good stereo though. You hear that? Like that? It's like a really wide sound. If I was going to be a radio DJ, like a voiceover guy, I would do that one. Huh? Where is the robot voice here? Robot voice, where are you? Hello? Hello? Well, I can't find it here. Maybe it was supposed to be this one. Maybe it was this one. I don't know. I don't really have that one. Caker Girl wants the elevator music. Yeah, I still don't have that one loaded up here on the home studio. I've got it on the remote studio soundboard, but I don't have it here. Got to do the robot rock Daft Punk voice. What was? Oh yeah. Well, and what was the initial? Oh, there's my. Oops, I was looking at my computer. What was the initial? The one that Kanye remixed. It was Strong. No, yeah, but what was the original Daft Punk song? Somebody will put it in the comments here. Brody tells me to come hang out. I'll hang out. Oh, good to see you, right field, Will. How are you, buddy? You would be a gem at fantasy camp. You got to find a way to get you at fantasy camp at one of these years. I feel like you would not only light up the room, but I feel like you'd love the experience. I have the power. Is that He-Man? Is that you? You have the power. What's going on, buddy? I'm assuming you're a buddy. Ooh, that one sounds pretty good. Harder, better, faster, stronger. How was fantasy camp? Did I have a lot of fun? I absolutely did. And I've got to tell you, I think I said this in a video I made. I'm probably jaded to the experience of Major League Baseball, and not because I've played it ever, but I've seen enough of it. I've seen behind closed doors. I've seen behind the curtain. I've seen, what goes on. So none of that is is new to me. But it's new to so many of the fantasy campers who are like, whoa, I mean, look, the field, the jersey, the fact that we get trainers and an equipment room and a clubhouse that looks like this, and somebody literally does your laundry of your jersey every single day. But for me, what was the best part was, being around some of the, it's like being around a lot of you. I mean, we're doing a live chat here, but it's different when you're, playing on a team with them. But just being around people who consume the work that we all do and are watching the team that we cover. To me, that one was that was the best part. And I tried to explain that to a couple people, and I don't know if they got it. I was like, yeah, actually, being around everybody here is the best part. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever you say. It's not playing on this field. I'm like, no, it's actually not. But that doesn't hurt. But kind of picking their brains was the best part. I love my team. I honestly, we were 5-0. We had a plus 40 run differential. We were going to win the whole darn thing. And then we unfortunately lost our first playoff game and a double. I mean, I think it was games were 6 innings that day because they were trying to expedite it. Had some rain coming in. And I think we went to did we go to the 9th? So we played a couple extra innings and back and forth, and I almost walked it off. I hit a line shot to left, bottom of the 6th, runner on second, who surely would have scored if that ball got past the left fielder. Instead, makes a great catch, tumbles. I'm like, did he catch it? Hand up with the glove. No. By the way, all this is documented on video, which I'll break out at some point. Chris, thoughts on Santa Clara hosting World Cup matches in 2026? I can't wait for the World Cup and matches in my home city of Seattle. Yeah, and if I'm correct, it's spread out right across North America. There's some games in Canada, and are there some games in Mexico too, or was I wrong about that? I don't think it's just a United States thing, but actually, I don't even know. So, where's the final match? Where is the centerpiece stadium for all this? But look, I think it'd be a tremendous opportunity for people in the Bay Area to see that firsthand. Doesn't even matter who the countries and teams are, quite honestly. I think it's just part of the experience. Soccer's big here. And sometimes it doesn't always translate in, earthquakes attendance. I've been here, and I didn't know what excuse me, I didn't know what the Oakland Roots were doing in terms of attendance, but apparently it's been really impressive to the point that they don't have space anymore. When they play at Laney and they get 5,000+, they could have more. They They don't have room for more. So I know the interest for soccer is here in the Bay Area, and it doesn't always maybe play out. It doesn't always show. Think about a lot of those Cali Classico games. Earthquakes in the Galaxy, in the last 10 plus years, and they go play at Stanford, and they basically fill that place up. I think you can't just throw any team out there. You need something that's not only entertaining but also competitive and a team that fans can get behind. So, Will's shooting for 2024 fantasy camp. I like that. Fernando wants to know, thoughts on the Jasper Weatherby trade. It was basically an AHL trade, 2 AHL players. I don't know the prospect of either being on the respective NHL team, like soon or right around the corner. I just don't know. But in terms of Jasper, it's kind of a fun story. Like, he was literally a Sharks fan, grew up in Oregon, attended a Stanley Cup final game, like with a sign that said Brent Burns is my spirit animal. And ultimately is Brent Burns' teammate last year. I wished better for him, and I wished it in San Jose. So we'll see. I wish I had more of a thought on this. I haven't seen it play out enough yet. And I don't know. I mean, who would know entirely about it? It's not, it's not an everyday like Sharks player that we're talking about. So, Rip Sal. Yeah, we talked about Sal Bando earlier. Best third baseman in A's history. Well, and you bring up a good point, Bamboo. I mean, think about the legacy the A's have had at the hot corner, from Carney Lansford to Eric Chavez, Josh Donaldson in a small spurt, Matt Chapman. Unfortunately, that era has now come to a close. But again, it seems like they've always had a third baseman who you're like, well, I can play over there. It's rare that they have a lot of years where there's not a dominant third baseman. But you're right to the point that Sal Bando, the way he was considered and regarded, and I can't speak from firsthand experience. I'm not old enough to, but everything you hear is like, no, he was the dude. So, Jack Hanahan, huh? Will, that's the third baseman you wanna bring up? You're crazy. Need you to attend a San Jose Barracuda game, my man. We need this. We need this to occur. It will. It will, buddy. It will. Hopefully one day I can try the fantasy camp if I can ice skate. Yeah, so the Sharks have a fantasy game. They've always done it, and that's also a tremendous experience. I should pump that up while we're here, too. It's not a whole week, like the A's, it's like a week-long thing. You play a bunch of games, doubleheaders every day, but hockey is with the Sharks, the way they had been doing it, was a one-day thing, also a tremendous experience. To skate out of the Shark Head wearing your full jersey and play a game at SAP Center, I mean, come on. It's an unreal chance. All right, well, now we're going down the rabbit hole here. Max Muncy? Mike Flowers? It's crazy. Got to get bowling with the Sharks going again. AJ, you trying to go bowling? I bet you, I feel like, would Topgolf, is that a possibility too? Or is that too spread out, like across the deck? I liked it. I liked bowling, if you may recall. I bring my own shoes and ball for bowling. Do I know which other Shark is going to the All-Star game? I don't know that it's a guarantee. If you're San Jose and your record is what it is, and obviously Carlson's going, I think the Sharks' record might prohibit, it probably does prohibit them from having a second player outside of Erik Karlsson. And Karlsson, look, he's on a ridiculous, if it weren't for the ridiculous pace he's on, yeah, I think it would be Timo Meier. Somebody was asking, how was it seeing Rosie at fantasy camp? It was great. It really was great. And Bobby Crosby, And Tommy Everidge was there. Obviously, Dallas, who I see a bunch, and Stu and Shooty, who, I worked with them all summer long. Hadn't seen him in a bit, though. And Carney and Terry Steinbach. It was a really good time. Really was. Miguel asking, will I be at Planks for the A's happy hour type thing? You know what? On Friday, we have a hockey game. We have a 3:30 pregame show. So unfortunately, I will not. But do you have a clear bowling ball with a rose in it? Well, Kingpin. That's right. I remember the movie. I couldn't remember the name of the movie. Oh, Kingpin, a classic. Oh, we're still going third baseman here. Wayne Gross. We could do let's do this before we close out. Let's try and name the most obscure A's players you can. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. And this could be because, usually they were around for such a short period of time, or they were really built up and promised, and then maybe didn't go so well. But I think you all know the game I'm asking for here is, name an A's player from any position that only you and I are going to know about. Even the average fan would be like, who? And we'll know about him. Let's see. I challenge all of you on that one. Oh, Scott Brocious. Now, see, that's another one that, that's not an obscure one, but I see what you did there. Eric Fox, Troy Neal. Brandon McCarthy is not an obscure. Is he obscure? Maybe to some people. Carney Lansford, obscure? What? It's the last World Series champion third baseman that the A's have had. Johnny LeMaster. We're going to go deep down the... you know what? ALK, thank you so much. Again, I know it's coming up on 1:30 a.m. out east, so thank you for being here. Nate Fryman. Oh, wow. Jay Payton. I remember covering Jay Payton with the A's in the mid-2000s. Mike Piazza. He was also, I think, on 06, 05, 06. Yeah, he was on one of those A's teams. Jack Cust. A second round from Mike Piazza. I knew somebody was going to say Frank Thomas. It's like when we say Carolina Hurricanes legend Patrick Marleau. Well, at least Frank Thomas played for the A's. Actually played two different stints for the A's. But Patrick Marleau never touched a Carolina jersey at all. The Big Hurt. Did Tommy Lasorda really play for the Kansas City A's? I'm not sure that I knew that. Jay Payton in 06. Manny Ramirez. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks selling popcorn and peanuts. Oh, it was an A in 2007. Okay. Honestly, I got all my years mixed up. Jeurys Familia, 2018. I remember the day that Familia got traded to Oakland. And I think the A's, it was a Sunday game. We were doing the pre and the post out at the Coliseum. And so it was a morning or afternoon game. He flew in from the East Coast, got there halfway through the game, pitched. I don't know that it was a save, but he was the last A's pitcher, so they won. And then the A's were going right back out on an East Coast road trip. So think about this. In the morning, he woke up on the East Coast, flew all the way across country out west, probably dead tired, not ready, but pitched for the A's, pitched an inning, they won, then jumped on a different plane and flew right back out east with his new team on a road trip. Holy smokes. Willie McGee. That's a good one. While with the Kansas City Athletics, Lasorda had a 6. This seems like it's copy and pasted from Wikipedia, Sean, I just got to say. Lasorda had a 6.15 ERA, 49 runs allowed over just 58 innings pitched. That's not great. Oh, Fernando Rodney, slim with the tilted brim. And you know what? I got to tell you, Lance, I had an honest moment when the A's signed Fernando Rodney and he pitched a couple games, and I realized I liked him and he was pitching well. And, I was always one when he was an opponent to say, you know what, put your hat straight. Come on, that's ridiculous. Da-da-da-da-da. And then I heard him say, well, the reason I wear my hat like this is a tribute to my dad. I think he said, I'm not sure if his dad was still around, but he said his dad was a fisherman. And a lot of times, you know, when you're out there in the sun and the sun's coming from an angle, you wear your hat sideways. And he always saw his dad wear his hat sideways. So he decided when he got to big league baseball, he'd wear his hat sideways. And then once I heard that, I'm like, dude, I went from just giving you a hard time about something stupid to like flat out respecting you. So that's one right there. Fernando Rodney, I'll never forget. And that was taught me a lesson too. Like, you know, don't take it too seriously. Like, yeah, we can have fun with the crooked hat thing, but it means something to him. So, and I didn't know that going in. Tony Phillips was part of the final out, right? Trying to remember, it was Tony Phillips was covering first, right? Oh no, wait. How did the final? I got to watch the final out of 89 all over again here. Hang on a second. Hang on. Why is this not instant to me? 1989 World Series final out. There it is. It's like a chopper to the right side, right? I know Eckersley's part of it. Oh, yeah. No, Phillips fielded it. That's what it was. Yeah, McGuire tried to dive for it. Phillips fielded it through to Eckersley. That's right. Okay. Anyway. Tony Phillips, a legend. Rafael Bornegal. Oh, wow. David Justice from the Moneyball era. Derek Barton. Oof. Oh, man. Most obscure shark, Mike Hoffman. For what? For like about 20 minutes was he on the team? Kevin Mitchell. Yeah, that's one that most people will not remember. Pat Venditti. Oh, the ambidextrous Pat Venditti. See, and that's one that A's fans are like, who? Wait, what? Yeah, the guy could pitch with both arms. Phil Plantier. Justin Dukeshire. Nick Hundley. Brad Pitt for Moneyball. Dave Kingman. Chris Carter. He sung a big bad. He was very soft-spoken too. So, all right, everybody. I think that's going to be it for the old live stream. Now, the real question is, when I play this video to send us off here, is it going to work or is it going to have that problem? Like when I signed on the live stream, it literally just quit on me. Oh, look at that. It doesn't even read it's not even reading the file anymore. Let's try this here. This is great television, isn't it? Me trying to get my Flash player to play. All right. Well, it looks like it might work here, so we'll give it a try. Man, I've had this tickle in my throat the entire live stream. Tom Candiotti. That's a good one. Ike Davis, Josh Donaldson. Bartolo Colon. Oh, come on. I'm not on the team, but I'll someday tell my son that I was. I'll show him some photos, some photoshops. That's cheating. All right. Well, really good to be with everybody tonight. And we will do it again sometime soon. All right. Until then, be safe. Enjoy some of the other videos here on my channel. And thanks, everybody, for the support. Before you go, hit a thumbs up on this video. And if you just came across this live stream and you're not subscribing, I don't do streams all the time, but hopefully I can provide you with some rewarding content down the road. All right. Good night, everybody. Look at Yosemite here. Enjoy that.